All right, we've got another question from our friend Vaniac17, and I've answered several of her questions already. And so for those of you thinking, it's not fair, you've answered her questions 3 times and not mine. Well, I'm answering this question because I've received a ton of questions very similar to this. So here's how it goes. Would you mind making a video about what you've learned being an instructor? I know it's a fairly broad topic, but I'm curious because I'm hoping to go into teaching martial arts as my career. Maybe what teaching has taught you or some things that have helped you teach, if that makes any sense. Thank you very much. All right, Vaniac, my friend. What have I learned from teaching? Man, teaching is a valuable learning tool in and of itself. Man, you can learn a ton from teaching, largely through trial and error, because teaching and coaching, teaching martial arts is a unique skill set and a unique talent separate from fighting. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, if that guy's a good fighter or a good competitor, therefore he must make a good coach. And that is not always true at all. I got a similar question from a guy who told me a little bit about his background. He was a professional fighter. He had a bunch of fights. He had a winning record. Sounded like a really tough guy, but he expressed some doubts about teaching and coaching, about his ability. He tried it, and it just didn't seem like he was any good at coaching, which was confusing to him. He was like, I know how to win fights, but I don't really know how to teach other people how to win fights. I've tried teaching my friends, I've tried teaching some other students, and they just scratch their heads like, well, what is going on, man? So coaching is a unique talent. I mean, there is this laundry list of famous boxing coaches who never boxed or never competed and definitely never won a world title, who ended up training world champions, like Ray Arcel, for example. Man, that guy trained a whole bunch of awesome boxers, and the dude, he was never a champion himself. In fact, I'm not even sure if he ever boxed professionally. Now, obviously, he understood the sport very well. You have to understand the sport to be a good coach. But it's a very different skill set from fighting. So that is one of the things I've learned. And you can see that with the sport of mixed martial arts as well. I mean, who are the big names in MMA coaching? I mean, there's Greg Jackson. What's Greg Jackson's MMA record? What's that? He doesn't have one? Well, that's interesting. That this guy who has trained so many UFC champions himself never competed in the UFC. Why is that? Because it's a different skill set. I'm not trying to take anything away from Greg Jackson. He's an awesome coach. He's very talented, very skilled, very knowledgeable, and he knows how to train world champions. Who else? Faraz Zahabi. Now, he has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He was a professional kickboxer. Did he ever fight in the UFC? Nope. Did he ever win any titles in the UFC? Nope. As far as I know, I don't think he ever competed in the sport of mixed martial arts, but the guy understands the sport, and he's trained all kinds of amazing fighters, including Georges St-Pierre, one of the most dominant champions ever. So, again, that is one of the most important things I've learned, is that coaching is a totally different skill set from fighting. Now, another thing I've learned as a coach is that it puts you in this unique opportunity to get a ton of experience, and a unique type of experience, because people will ask you questions and they'll ask you to break down a technique that perhaps you've never broken down before, something you just know how to do, and then you're like, oh yeah, I can teach you this, and then you're like, wait, what actually makes this work? Why is it that I can do this thing, but this guy can't? And this guy can do it, but this guy can't. And then you start asking yourself these important questions. Then you start paying attention to details like, oh, it's that framing thing that jiu-jitsu black belts always talk about. Oh, click, click, that's starting to make sense. And then when you understand all these little details that you never even thought about looking for previously, man, it's mind-blowing. It opens up your mind, all these other possibilities, and in some ways, it can make you a better fighter and competitor. But in most ways, it makes you a better instructor and a better teacher and a better mentor. So, a coach has to see the sport in a way different way than a fighter or a competitor. Let's see, what else have I learned? Man, I've learned a ton about intrapersonal relationships being a coach. how to communicate more effectively, how to speak more effectively, how to have a certain type of charisma to command attention and respect. And that's kind of a weird thing, because if you go out there thinking, I will command respect today, and you just come off as you just come off as a dweeb, man. You just come off as a needy little person. So one of the most important things I've learned in that regard is just be genuine. You know that thing adults always used to say to you when you were a kid, just be yourself. It's the best way to be. And then the little kid version of you is like, but little kid version of me sucks. Little kid version of me isn't interesting. Little kid version of me doesn't know what the heck he's doing. I don't want to be myself. I want to be someone better. Well, here's the thing. Focus on being 1% better every day. Then in 100 days, you're 100% better. And you know what? After a while, you don't even have to think about it anymore. It's just a habit. It's just your life. It's just who you are. What else? Being a coach has taught me to live by example. Now, that's something I've always said that I do, but looking back, it's not always something that I've done. Live by example. So I'm the guy who has to be here at the gym at 6 in the morning, to open up. I'm the guy who's often here closing up the gym. And so what does that mean? Well, that means I've got to live a lifestyle conducive to that. I can't be out partying at night. I don't do that anyway. It's just not who I am or what I do or what I'm interested in. It's not something conducive to the life that I want to lead, which is coaching fighters to win fights. So, this job, I suppose I could say it's helped me become a better person, or what, but I don't know. What is a better person? I don't know. It's helped me to become a better version of myself. Was I a bad person when I was that little dweeby kid who didn't know what he was doing, who didn't want to be myself because myself wasn't good enough? No. But am I a better version of myself now? I would say I'm a more complete version of myself now. Focus on being a complete person, a person with integrity. Because when you have integrity, other people will see that. If you don't, they will see right through you. Coaching has taught me to be transparent. Be transparent. Don't lie, don't pretend. If you don't have the answer, because people have questions for you, if you don't have the answer, say, I don't know. But let's find out. Come with me on my journey of seeking knowledge and wisdom, and together we will find it. That happens a lot in class. People be like, hey, coach, why is this technique not working for me? And I'll look at it, like, show me what you're doing. And sometimes I don't know why it's not working. Like, well, that's interesting. Why isn't it working? And I'll study it, and I'll be like, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's try it under this circumstance, and in this situation, and with this variable, and then, aha! We have just used the scientific method to deduce the problem. Now we know what it is. Science, hooray. Okay. So I could go on and on about it. It's a great question. I love it. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments section down below, or email me at ramseydewey@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.